Good morning, everybody. My name's Terry, and this is my durian farm behind me. Today we're going to do a farm update. I'm going to show you my trees. And as of today, these trees behind me are 3 years and 4 months old. We've got something going on here. I believe we're going to go ahead and go for fruiting this year because of the size of my trees. Yes, typically people talk about having a 4-year-old tree before you want them to flower. But because of the size of my trees and the robustness of them, we're going to go ahead and have flowers a little bit early. We're going to go for fruiting this year. So let's get into it. Let's show you my farm, okay? All right, guys, so here it is. Here are my trees. And as you can see, they are big. 3 years, 4 months old. And yeah, they have really taken off. The canopy's looking really good. We're on our second set of leaves, and for those of you guys that are unsure, but anyways, it goes by your sets of leaves, your bigger leaves for fruiting, and you've got to have 3 sets before you allow them to flower. And currently we're on our second set. The leaves are very robust, very healthy looking, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go for fruiting this year. But take a look at this double tree in here. All my trees are double, but you can see the size of them. They're looking massive. And that root on this tree here is extremely big. Bigger than normal in my farm, but most of the trees are that size. So we're gonna go ahead and go for fruiting. But as far as growth wise, yeah, they're growing extremely well, guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pan over and we're gonna take a look at our 1-year-old trees now. Here you go, look at this. Here are 1-year-old trees. Planted these last year, and 90% of them are doing really good. We've got new tops all over. The canopy's looking really good. So yeah, we're moving right along, guys. So these are all Musang out here. My older trees here, these are all Musang. I do have some Musang King and Shawnee, and I'd like to show you guys that different variety. So let's go over and let's take a look at the Musang King first, and then we'll go ahead and I'll show you Shawnee next. So while we're walking over to see the other varieties, as far as the Musang variety that I have, they're actually extremely optimal for my area. We get a spell of a dry season, and they seem to do much better than the other varieties. The Musang King, they tend to die out, or they don't take the dry weather too well. But the Musang that I have do really well, and the Shawnee do really well. So if you guys are growing in a more drier area, you may want to consider, Musang. But anyways, we are at the Musang King, and we flick this camera around, and we're going to show you some Musang King. Here we go, guys. The Musang King. One thing that I can say about Musang King is it grows really fast, and it grows completely different from Musang or Shawnee. And the fact it's more of a bally tree. You see here. Much more so to the right, you can see the Musang King. To the left is Musang, but they are a bigger, rounder tree, not as tall, and they grow wildly, guys. They don't have the same structure as Musang. As you can see, I've pruned these back. Pruned a few of them back here, but the branches are big enough now to where we can have fruit. See the size of this branch here, guys. It's got a nice girth to it. But this particular Musang King, I believe, is ready to go. The canopy is extremely robust. The only question is how it's going to do during the dry season. So we'll figure that out as we go. But we're going to do it. We're going to go for flower, and we're going to go for fruit this year. Now let's buzz on over here. My next row, this is all Shawnee. So you see the Musang King's to the left, really big tree, and the Shawnee is to the right. They're all the same age. On my farm, everything is 3 years, 4 months old. I planted in June of 21. So this is a Shawnee plant right here, tree. But what had happened is one of them had died when we first planted, so I threw a Mong Tong right next to it. So there you go. We've got a Mong Tong and Shawnee right next to each other. But as far as the difference between Mong Tong and Shawnee, Shawnee is a tree that's got a lot more branches. It's more dense. It's got a smaller leaf. It grows as a cone also. But here's a great example of the difference when looking at the two. To your left, again, is a Mong Tong that I had put in because the other Shawnee died. But you can see the difference between the two. The leaves are definitely much smaller, and these are the feeder leaves for fruit, but they're quite small compared to, Mong Tong, much longer broadleaf. So yeah, our Shawnee's doing really good. Musang King's doing really good. Mong Tong's doing really good. Everything's doing really fantastic. Now let's wander on over here and take a look at Gungao. This is my aisle for Gungao, and you can see Gungao is a much slower growing tree, and we've had a lot die off actually, guys. Gungao is a very difficult species to grow, and you can see I've had to replant Mong Tong. Whenever I get a tree that dies, I replace it with Mong Tong. So it's more resilient up here, and it's a better commercial brand anyways. So farther over, you can see I have more Mong Tong, rows of Mong Tong, more rows of Shawnee, and another row of Musang King. So let's wander on over there. Yeah, so when I first planted this farm, as we're going over to look at the other trees, when I first planted this farm, I wanted to be diverse. I wanted to have a variety of different fruit to where I could also sell to the local market, besides commercially selling it to the exporters. So the wife was keen on that. But what we found is that certain species don't do good here. Even though, we're in a growing area for durian, that doesn't mean all species are going to grow well. And what we found is Malaysian durian here in our area don't grow well. That's the Musang King. And the Gungao, definitely not growing good either. So we've learned quite a bit, guys, so don't make that same mistake. If you're looking to put durian in and you're in a little bit drier area, stick with Mong Tong. Okay, we're in my other rows. I'm gonna flick this camera around. All right, guys. See, I haven't cut the grass here. It's been wet. We're at the end of rainy season. There's more Musang King right in front of me here. Nice bally fruit tree. And then these rows over here are Mong Tong all the way down. I really don't want to step in that grass because I've got thongs on and we have snakes. But let's take a look. Let's take a look inside here, see how big it's growing. Yeah, there you go, guys. All these branches here where the fruit's going to be hanging. So we're looking ready, man. We are looking ready to have fruit here at Terry's Durian Farm. And for those of you guys that, question the name of my farm, it's named after my son. His name's also Terry, so. Another Mong Tong tree. We're gonna walk on over, guys, and we're gonna take a look at the one-year-old trees close up. Well, since we planted this farm, it's been wonderful living here. It's a terrific neighborhood. I've got a couple of subscribers that are buying land here. They're also going to call it home. Got a friend, Dean, that I met through YouTube. Terrific guy. Him and his wife are going to buy 40 rye here down the road from me, and they're going to plant durian. So yeah, we're gonna have another foreigner around here, which is gonna be totally cool. And then yeah, I have another gentleman that's coming later this year that wants to buy land, and another guy from England. There's three, so there's 3 people gonna be buying durian land around here. They've already visited, they found their pieces, and now they're just arranging everything to financially to make that move. So anyways, there's not much land left here, guys. It's premium too. So all right, here we go. Here goes my my 1-year-old trees. I'll update you on that. Let me flick this around. Okay, there we go. So these are my 1-year-old trees, all Mongtong, and they're 90% doing good. We do have the occasional one that would die, and look, right here, guys. No matter how good you take care of them, stuff happens. So we'll just take that out, but you know, 1 out of 180 that are, you know, not bad. But as far as size, they're doing really well. We'll go to a big one. I'll show you guys some big ones here. This particular tree here is definitely taller than me. Again, that's 1-year-old. I planted it last year, June. And I planted a few double trees here. I was experimenting with conditioned soil versus untreated. But the canopies are extremely robust on these trees. And as far as size, man, they have just grown so much, so fast. And I mean, I'm impressed. And the local farmers are impressed with the size and the health of my trees. I'm also impressed. So I impressed myself, I guess. I'm doing better than I thought. Anyways, guys, yeah, these are all the trees. This farm right next to me, I bought a portion of it, but this is still available. So anybody interested in wanting to grow durian in a successful location, we've got still a little bit of land left around here that you'll succeed in. That 100% it'll grow. Don't make the mistake, guys, of buying land in areas where you cannot grow durian, where it's questionable, because you'll fail, and you don't want to do that. Like, look at the top on this thing. Look how much it's just shooting up. This tree is just growing madly. Extremely robust. Look at that sucker. Beautiful tree. Give you an idea for the size. Let me flick this camera around. I'll stand next to it. There you go. I'm next to it. All right. I can't reach the top, but they're big trees, guys. So 1-year-old and they're big. All right, fellas. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, maybe you should subscribe if you're interested in durian trees. And if you made it this far, give me a like, guys. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. And remember, it's a durian life. Take care. See y'all.